for the weekend on a work trip. This is the book. It's called... Hi you guys, welcome to my kitchen. It is such a gloomy Wednesday. If you can't tell, like this is the natural lighting in my kitchen and it looks like it's about 6 p.m. but it is really only 4:30. Though the time change is definitely making a difference, but it is just like an exceptionally cloudy today. I was just thinking today, I was like, I'm gonna be in my kitchen quite a bit this whole week, and I just thought I would take you along on all of my cooking adventures this week. It's really gonna be more like cooking and baking because I'm making things for tonight. I'm hosting dinner for our friends. They're gonna come over, so I'm gonna make our entree, our sides, and a dessert. And then for this weekend, we're going to be attending a Friendsgiving. And for that, I am also going to do a dessert and a side. I just got home from work. I'm gonna eat a snack and then we'll get going on dinner tonight. So on the menu for tonight's dinner is garlic marinated salmon and then asparagus, and I'm gonna do just roasted potatoes. And then for dessert, Caleb requested to have oatmeal raisin cookies. They're his favorite cookie ever. He is not a big sweets guy, and I feel like oatmeal raisin cookies are kind of like the perfect middle of like not too rich, but they're still like a good cookie to have. I'm just gonna go ahead and do all my prep work now. I'm going to cut the veggies just to like get it kind of out of my mind. I also have to prep the cookie dough. I have ice cream to serve with that as well. And then outside of that, it's just gonna be super easy. So the real star of the show tonight is the salmon that I'm gonna be making. And it's honestly incredible because it is a just frozen salmon. I'll show you guys in one sec. This is the salmon, it's from Costco, and there's 6 like individually packaged fillets in here, and they're already marinated in like olive oil, garlic, and I don't know what else, like paprika, some kind of like onion. They come in fillets like this, and so I'm just going to lay them all out on a baking sheet and then bake them all. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut and prep all my veggies, and I'll also put those on baking sheets, and I can just put everything in the oven whenever it's time for it all to bake, and it all bakes around the same amount of time, so it's just like perfect and the easiest hosting meal ever. So I have always really loved cooking, and I grew up in a very big family. I'm sure a lot of you know I grew up with 7 siblings. There's 8 of us kids, my mom and dad. So we were a family of 10, which is crazy to say now. Like, it's just always been a norm growing up, but it really is a lot of people when you think about it. And so my mom also homeschooled all of us kids. And so a big part of learning was just like learning by doing things alongside my mom. And one of those things was baking and cooking, really from like a very young age. I remember cooking with both my grandmas. I remember baking. I just like always loved to be in the kitchen. I definitely am more of like a crafty person and really like to be doing things with my hands and kind of like multitasking. I like listening to podcasts, or like when I was like 12, I would listen to Adventures in Odyssey. For those who know, you know, and would crochet or do, you know, whatever task I could find just to like keep my hands busy, because I really enjoyed like learning and being entertained through that kind of medium. And so just like throughout the years, getting older and older, I just really enjoyed being in the kitchen. I remember my mom gave me a lot of freedom and would let me just like bake. And I remember I had a huge baking phase where I would search up stuff on Pinterest and go and like make whatever I could find on Pinterest, and it would all be eaten like by the end of the day, whether it was like cookies or muffins. And then I kind of ventured into more cooking, and then I was like, this is really fun. Though there were some days where I would like choose like the most detailed, like in-depth recipe, and I was like, I want to make this and like learn. But then when you have to scale it to make it in bulk for 10 people, it definitely is like pretty exhausting, and you're like, wow, I just spent like almost 4 hours in the kitchen. I remember having several of those afternoons where it was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna make this, and then it's like 3.5 hours later and I'm like, are we like done with this yet? Because like I've been here for so long. I just have always known that I like to be in the kitchen, And then it wasn't until I got married, which was almost a year and a half ago. It'll be a year and a half in like 2 weeks. But whenever I got married to Caleb, I definitely like knew I enjoyed cooking, but it was kind of like a new thing of like, okay, I'm gonna do this every single night very consistently. Like, what are my go-to meals? What am I comfortable making? And fast forward to now, I'm not making anything super detailed and like crazy, but we do have like our go-to meals that are healthy, that like fit the budget for us and that we both really like. And so it is kind of like boring if you think about it, but I think that's just like very realistic. It's nice whenever you just kind of have things like in your muscle memory that I don't have to be like, oh, I have to look up a recipe for dinner tonight. I just know I can freeball it in the kitchen that night if I have the ingredients stocked in my fridge, and that's like the best feeling for me. I'm gonna go ahead and drizzle pretty generously with olive oil on them both, and then just do salt. I'm not gonna pepper it. I don't really like my potatoes peppered. So now our sides are prepped, and I'm just going to put these to the side. And now I'm going to prep our cookies for tonight. But I did want to show these beautiful hydrangeas. Caleb was gone for the weekend on a work trip and brought these for me whenever I got home, which is just like so sweet because he was the one that was gone and brought these to me. Before, Caleb got me hydrangeas, and as soon as he brought them home from the store, they completely wilted. And so I had seen like reels and I don't know, just people talking about hydrangeas like drinking from their petals and not their stems. And so I submerged the petals in water. Like I don't know, I feel like if you know what I'm talking about, you know, but they never recovered. They never like immediately sprung back to life like everyone says. And so this past time, it was this one and this one that were like completely wilted, like fully dropped. And I just cut the stems at an angle. And then I put boiling hot water in the vase that I have here, and then put the stems back in, and like within 10 minutes they were fully back to life, and they have held on beautifully since there's Saturday night and it's now Wednesday. So that is my tried and true trick now for hydrangeas. I'm going to be using really hot water and cutting the stems. I am very, very happy to have these with us, especially since I'm going to be in my kitchen so much this week. This is the recipe I'm going to be making. It's just like a Pinterest recipe, and I'm so excited. They look so yummy.
Excellent. Worked beautiful butterflies on the golfing thing, and the liking it thing. She had fun, Suki.
Okay, I just finished setting the table, and then I cleaned up the kitchen. There's nothing like a clean kitchen. This is the cleaned up living room. Obviously, I have to show you proof that I actually cleaned everything. And then for the food, here's everything prepped. Here are all the 6 fillets. I have the rest of the asparagus here. I just preheated the oven, so I'm about to pop them all in the oven, and they will be done all within like 30 minutes. Caleb's calling. Hey, babe.
Hey, don't forget to read or listen to Bonhoeffer, chapter 3 or chapter 4.
We're doing almost like a book, not club, but kind of. And we are going through reading chapters of a book by Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Let me see if I can find our book. This is the book. It's called The Cost of Discipleship. And honestly, it's such a good read. I don't know when he wrote it. The copyright is 1959, so I'm guessing he wrote it in the 50s. So it's a little bit more of like a not as modern language, but it's really easy to understand, and it's just like such simple but like good and deep provoking truths. And so it's been really good to read through it, and then we get to talk about it with Caitlin and Alec, and that has been like a highlight of getting dinner together because it just like provokes such good conversations. If you just like want to go deeper with friends or like couples or group of people, going through a book and like discussing it over meals in a home is just like so incredible, and I feel like it just changes the whole trajectory of just like the meal and your time together because you actually have something like to talk about. It opens up a whole different door of like conversations that you don't get like small talk. I mean, you could do it over like a book like this, which is faith-based, or you could do it on like a book that you share interests on, or like a lifestyle book, anything. But we have really, really liked going through this.
I don't make the rules, I just carry them out.
All right, well, tell us what you're doing.
I just rolled all the dough for our oatmeal raisin cookies, which were requested by my lovely husband.
And they look great.
We're gonna have these, I made them extra big, and we're gonna have them with vanilla ice cream. And it's gonna be delicious. On the table.
No, it. No,
I
literally.
feel like it was at Louis.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. This is gonna be such a fun day because I am just cooking everything in prep for Friendsgiving tonight, which we are going to Caitlin and Alex's house to do a Friendsgiving. I'm going to bring a apple pie. I'm gonna do homemade cranberry sauce, and then I'm also gonna be making a fall inspired charcuterie board, and I could not be more excited. This is like my dream, to just spend a long afternoon / morning in my kitchen and just like bake really pretty yummy things. I used this King Arthur's Baker's Companion for all-purpose bread. It's like the bread flour brand, if you have ever seen this at the store. But I love it because it's just like simple, classic recipes for really any like pastry, anything that has flour as like a main ingredient or a key ingredient. I made the pie crust from this book, which was just flour, butter. I use salted butter. A lot of recipes call for salt as well, but I just omitted the salt because I have pretty salty butter. But I just realized that I haven't had any caffeine today, so I'm going to go ahead and make myself a matcha real quick, and then we'll get started on the process. Okay, I have my matcha in hand, so I'm all ready to start on the apple pie. And apple pies are like the best pie ever, but the greatest thing about an apple pie is how simple it is to make. And it just really takes only a few ingredients. It's apple, butter, your spices, and then really like the pie dough. I guess you need sugar, but other than those things, it is so simple, and I'm just so excited to make it. It's been really probably since last year since I've made apple pie. I am going to put on a podcast or music or something and get to peeling all of these. Every Day is a Holiday by Glenn Miller. I just looked up good Thanksgiving music, and it's all jazz, and I could not be more excited. I like forget about jazz, and I don't know how, but it just completely transforms the vibe of anything you're doing, and especially around this time of year. I'm adding my sugar to my apples, which I peeled and then just cut, and then I just kind of toss them in some lemon juice. Okay, two things. How cute is this pie dish? I got this at one of my bridal showers, and I just love it. And then also I don't have a rolling pin, so we're gonna be using Caleb's Yeti. It's not quite aesthetic, but it's just real life. sweating right now. I feel like that took me so long to get that pie in the oven, but now that it's in, I feel so much better because that was like the most extensive amount of time that I needed to put into something for what I'm making and bringing. So for my cranberry sauce, which is what I'm going to be doing next, I just sent Caleb to the store because I thought I had ginger powder, but I don't, and so that's what I need for that. So it calls for the zest of 1 orange, so I'm going to go ahead and zest this guy. How pretty is that? I'm going to go ahead and squeeze it and just try to get as much juice out without any of the seeds. It's a little bit big for this, but we're just making do. This is the juice and the grated zest. I'm just going to let this hang out on my stovetop. I'm not going to put it on the heat or anything until Caleb gets back. He might get lunch, so he might be a little bit longer, so I think I might just go ahead and start with a charcuterie board. This is what the pie looks like. I probably shouldn't keep the oven door on for very long, but it's looking beautiful. Okay, you guys are joining me at my table, and I'm gonna show you everything I got for the charcuterie boards before I start to prep and put them together. Honestly, Trader Joe's is like the charcuterie board store. They have everything and more you could want for the most beautiful board. I decided to lean into more of like a fall vibe board, obviously just because we're going to Friendsgiving, so I'm kind of doing more like moody, not as bright. So to start with meats, the most important part, I feel like I just got a regular salami. I feel like as long as you have a few types of meat, you are good. And then I got this like selection of meats. I think there's prosciutto, salami, and capicola. I don't really know how to say it, but they looked really yummy and they're gonna be really beautiful on a board. And then for my cheeses, I just got 3. I got an Asiago rosemary cheese. This looks just really beautiful. And then I got like a cheddar cheese. It's supposed to be like, this is like a caramelized onion. And then I got a soft cheese to go in the center of my board. And then for crackers, I got a trio of scalloped. So there's just a few to choose from. There's like a spicy, a garlic, and a rosemary. I'm really leaning into the rosemary today. And then I got these like, I feel like these are just like so popular from Trader Joe's. But these are like the crispy sweet holiday crackers. They have like different ones. I've had like cranberry nut ones. These are orange and lemon and then sugar on top. So I think these are gonna be really yummy. I love having funky things on a board. Like who wants a boring board with things that you could get all the time? And I got these dried orange slices. They're candied. I candied some orange slices last year for a board and they came out super good, but it's just hard. It's a long process. It takes forever and then you have to dry them. It's just a huge mess. So I picked these up. I'm actually so happy that I saw these. I got some strawberries. I feel like strawberries on a board are just beautiful. I got an apple. This is like the largest Honeycrisp apple you have ever seen. And I got this maple spice nut mix. And then I was looking through my fridge and I still have rosemary left from whenever I did some pot roasts. And rosemary I feel like is just good forever because it's literally a branch. And I'm really happy because a lot of the things I picked up are rosemary. So that is all the ingredients for the board. Sorry, my phone has been sitting here. And then for my dishes, I have this dish, which my mom gave to me. I think she's had for a long time. And then this cute dish, which is like scallop. My mom thrifted a ton of dishes for my wedding because we did a cookie table. If you're from Pittsburgh, you know the Pittsburgh cookie table tradition. And I wanted to have like really pretty platters. And so my mom literally is like the thrifting queen and thrifted the most beautiful things and gifted a lot of them to me. And so I think this one may have been thrifted or she just had and was like, I don't need it anymore. But I have a ton of these serving trays. So I think I'm going to start my spread here. And then if I have a ton of ingredients left, which I'm kind of thinking I will, then I'll do a second platter and put it on this one. Have you ever seen something so beautiful? This is the caramelized onion cheese. I like to crumble my cheese and cut it, so I have both here, but this one was a kind of so much softer of a cheese than I thought. So I just will have to crumble it all. And then I'm about to cut into this rosemary cheese, but look how beautiful this is. So now that everything is prepped here, I'm gonna go ahead and start assembling. This is the most fun part of it all. My method for this type of board is not so much of a, like, I know exactly where I'm gonna place everything. It's more so of like what I start with and then build out on. For example, I'm gonna put this cheese right here and I feel happy with that placement. And then I just start building out from that. I'm going to take some of this beautiful meat and I'm gonna fold it up just like so. And this is gonna allow me to make a run right here. I'm gonna take some of these crackers and lay them there. And then take from those and place it here. So you can kind of see how I'm getting like pockets of things. And then I'm going to take some apples and I'm actually going to lay them so you could see like the rinds to give a little bit more color. Like so. I'm gonna put them also on a pocket over here. And then once I have like a few spots that I really like something, then I just go ahead and layer. So I'm going to take a little bit more meat and do another meat run. I'm gonna place that one over here. And I'm gonna take some of these crackers and place them over here. And now for some cheeses. So really this board is pretty much done. Now I'm just going to do fillers. So I'm going to take some nuts and put them in this pocket right here and put these somewhere. I'm going to take some rosemary sprigs and just put them all around in little pockets. That is board number 1. These are the finished and final boards. I'm actually so happy that I have 2 because I just feel like, I don't know, it's so much more fun to bring 2 and then you don't feel as bad about like taking from a board. But I am just so excited about these. I wanted to show that the pie came out of the oven too. I put a like crust protector over the edges and just left the hole open, but it was lopsided, so you can see like where it was, which was right here. But I'm really happy with it. The crust stayed really pretty. It's super crispy and completely done, which I'm very happy about. That we're almost done, and the only thing left is cranberry sauce, and I think it literally takes like 5-10 minutes. So I'm gonna get in the kitchen and finish with that. So I'm going to be using my mom's recipe for the cranberry sauce. I love my mom's like recipes because I asked her to send one and she literally just sends me a picture that looks like this. It's like a super used recipe card and I just love it. So it calls for 1.5 cups of sugar, 1 orange, grated ginger or ginger powder, which is what I'm using, 4 cups of cranberries, and then 1/2 cup of toasted pecans. How many cups is 12 ounces? 1.5 cups is 12 ounces. So now that all of the cranberries are added into this, I'm just like having them simmer until they all pop. So they'll like kind of congeal and cook down. And I can already hear them popping, which is crazy. Let's take care of my shirt. I'm going to be trying this Miss Mouth's Messy Eater Stain Treater. That's a mouthful. If you can see it, it's right here. Super happy with it. It came out so good. Let me show you all. I feel like the lighting is so poor over there. This is what it came out to be. It like really does kind of jam up in a way just because of all that sugar. But I wish you could smell it. It's so good. And I tasted it. and it's like just like candy. It's so yummy. I also cleaned the whole kitchen, which honestly was not that bad because I unloaded the dishwasher and just put everything in there and then wiped and I vacuumed. And I did put plastic wrap over both of the charcuterie boards. We're all ready for Friendsgiving. I have on kind of like a fallish vibe outfit. Now I'm going to transfer over the cranberry sauce that I made into a container to take it with us. I probably should have done this before I got all ready, but it's too late now. Perfect size Tupperware, and it just looks like the most perfect consistency ever too.
Oh gosh, we gotta go.
You wanna say hi?
Hello.
Off to Friendsgiving.